Hi guys, welcome back to the Financial Drive-Thru, your one-stop for all the cryptocurrency related news and latest information in the space. I'm your host, Majesty Ibianga, and today we're just going to go over a couple of new headlines, and we will be taking a look at the market as well to see where we're at. Now, it's good to point out that I am not a financial advisor, and so everything that I say and do on this channel is really based off of my own research and my own personal bias. So I do encourage everyone watching to do their own due diligence and be sure that everything that they get involved in crypto is right for them. So that said, let's drive through. First up, we're going to take a look at the charts. This is the BTCUSD charts in the 4-hour time frame. In my last video, we were somewhere around this region, right? I did say that I expected the price to actually climb all the way up to these two moving average lines here. This is the 21-day moving average and the 100-day moving average. Now, what happened was the market actually did try to rally up, but we couldn't generate enough steam here. Usually, when you want to cross through a resistance line or break through a support line, the candlesticks are usually this long, full ones. That's because the market has to rally up and pick up some steam and then make a push for it. So the market basically did try and test over here. I think this candle has a close of 7,650 and couldn't break the 7722 resistance line that I had drawn up. And so instead we saw the market go all the way down and this time push through support. So here we can see again one of those really big thick candlesticks. You know, that's kind of like the momentum to drive through it. And so it came all the way down and found new support. So basically what we're seeing now is the market is again trying to rally. This is probably based off of current news and things that are happening in the space. So we're going to take a look at a couple headlines and actually see what we can come up with. Taking a look at the markets, right now we have a cryptocurrency market cap of about $265 billion right now, just over that. And Bitcoin dominance is at 48.6%. You can see actually no major moves have been made. There's a lot of sideways movement going on in the space. Real quick, let's take a look at the biggest winners. We have Empower Coin, Tezos, which is quite interesting. Tezos is actually seeing a 10.45% rise. Metaverse, ETP, Komodo, HShare, IOTA, and Binance Coin. Yeah, Binance Coin has made it back. Oh yeah, and Archain and Steam. Good to see Steam is making some moves. And then the biggest losers actually are Loopring, PivX, 10x, Chainlink, Walton Chain, Decentraland, Dropil, and Loom. Our first headline today, McAfee's Unhackable Bitcoin wallet has allegedly been hacked. So getting right into it, John McAfee's BitFi Bitcoin wallet has allegedly been hacked after its creator issued a $250,000 hacking challenge. So BitFi, which has marketed the wallet as unhackable, has not responded yet to Oversoft NL, which is a security research group that claimed to have obtained root access to it. So here we have a series of tweets, quite interesting to read through. I'm definitely going to put a link to this article in the details section of the video so you can actually check it out. So Oversoft basically, Oversoft NL says, short update without going into too much detail about BitFi. We have root access, a patch firmware, and can confirm the BitFi wallet still connects happily to the dashboard. There are no checks in place to prevent that, like claimed by BitFi. So BitFi didn't respond immediately, but they put out another tweet, now making a reference to the one that Oversoft actually put out. So they say, dear friends, we're announcing a second bounty to help us assist potential security weaknesses of the BitFi device. We would greatly appreciate assistance from the InfoSec community. We need help. Here are the bounty conditions, and they put a link to the new conditions. Oversoft then accused BitFi of using its $250,000 bounty as a marketing ploy, hinting that it would not hand over any information about security weaknesses just yet. So you got to pay up first. So now the whole controversy about this is that this bounty actually went up from 100,000 to 250,000 because John McAfee just won't quit. In response to his rhetoric that it was unhackable, a bunch of security researchers have been doing like this whole Twitter back and forth that's going on. So we have a couple of those tweets over here, and I'll put in links to additional talks on it in the details section of the video. Among the security researchers who have been criticizing McAfee, right, we have Ryan Casilicha, who actually was quoted saying that BitFi is a cheap, stripped down Android phone and he would strongly advise against using it. In response, BitFi actually issued comprehensive denials of these claims, accusing Oversoft of working for its competitors and reiterating its $250,000 bounty. So in the event that the Bitfire wallet was hacked, it remains to actually be seen what that will mean for both Bitfire and McAfee. So let me know what you think in the comment section of the video. I mean, this is hilarious stuff as far as I'm concerned, because I mean, he was just poking the bear. Next up, former FBI Director Louis Freeh, and I hope I pronounced that right, reveals about Tether Investigation. So the backstory to the whole Tether gist is that the CEO of Tether is actually also the CEO of the cryptocurrency exchange Bitfinex, right? You can imagine it if you own an exchange and you actually own a cryptocurrency. People actually want to be sure there was no foul play going on between the two companies, because Tether was actually created to be like a stable coin, more like a surrogate for the US dollar. So if you had one Tether, you would be able to get one US dollar, give or take. So the thing is, Tether has over 2.5 billion Tether coins in circulation, and so especially when the price started dipping, people had concerns about whether or not Tether actually had the money to back up those payments, because like I said, Tether usually kind of goes green when every other coin is going down, because most people prefer to sell off their cryptocurrencies and buy into Tether so they can actually maintain their price range without losing too much money, and it's supposed to be safe. The whole idea of being safe is in being sure that when you are to actually redeem your Tether tokens back as cash, you could actually get that. So the CEO of Tether and Bitfinex, he's actually Jan Ludovicus. He's insisted that the two companies are completely separate from each other, and in an attempt to actually better the situation, he hired Louis Freeh, a former FBI director, to conduct an investigation into compliance and transparency of his company, and basically just to check the whole bank balances and all, and make sure everything was, all copacetic. Freeh's report says that on the 1st of June, without Tether or its two banks knowing the selected date ahead of time, the FSS performed an account snapshot and found that Tether held a total of $2.545 billion, which indeed covered the 2.538 billion USDT coins in circulation at the time, plus a cushion of about $7 million, right? This does allow for some skepticism if you think about it, because can we exactly call that proof? So I want to know what you think in the comment section of the video. Let me know what you think. So over the past couple of days, we've been talking about cryptocurrency adoption. I see here that the use of Bitcoin for payments declines despite the bigger stability. Regarding Bitcoin as a means of payment, the report by Chainalysis confirmed that the coin was not suitable for small payments, but is still used by entities to pay vendors, especially freelancers. Here they say that the payment trend is surprisingly declining, even though the Bitcoin price has narrowed its volatile movement and has been more stable in past weeks. Now, volatility was regarded as the major reason why Bitcoin couldn't replace fiat currencies when buying goods and services. However, it seems that Bitcoin is still mostly used for trading. So despite the fact that it's lost more than half its value since late December, consumers are actually quite wary of spending it. And we talked about this. I'm actually going to be less inclined to use Bitcoin to pay for a coffee or to pay for an Uber or something random like that, because I would want to use it to trade and all. So we have to ask ourselves, is this mindset actually setting us back as a community, or is there any hope in sight? So we looked further into the article and saw some other points responsible for this decline, right? Nicholas Weaver is a researcher at the International Computer Science Institute. He says it's not actually usable. The net cost of a Bitcoin transaction is far more than a credit card transaction. But he also noted that the BTC transactions could not be reversed, and which is often a problem when merchants or consumers want to fight against fraud. So yes, that's actually going to be an issue. If you've already paid for it with crypto, you can't get it back. In the last few months, more services such as Stripe and Expedia seized their support of Bitcoin as a means of payment. So this is stuff that's actually troubling the market, and it's not really just Bitcoin alone. Here we see Litecoin tops transaction numbers at the airport, but is adoption really happening? Getting right into it, sometime back, Brisbane International Airport started accepting crypto payments. Now, what they said was Litecoin had the most transactions at the airport, and that goes to show that in the race for adoption, LTC has a head start, which is actually very good because it's cheap to transact with and it's super fast, right? The number of transactions for crypto at the airport show that crypto adoption is very far from going mainstream, despite the headline. And that's because in the month of July, more than 2 million people used this airport, and out of those, only 39 payments were made using cryptocurrencies. So it begs the question, either people are not willing to spend their cryptos, my money is on that opinion, or they say most people don't know about cryptos and their usability as currencies. I don't believe that, and I want to know what you think. Let me know in the comments what you think about that. I actually think people are less inclined to want to spend their cryptos at the moment. Everybody has that hodler mentality. The problem with the hodler mentality is that most of these cryptos were designed to function as currencies and are not getting used for this purpose. Because I mean, a lot of people look on the markets, and the question most people are always asking is, what's the next coin to moon? What coin to buy? Everyone is interested in quick gains and hodling. They want to hold on to see if they're going to get to 2017 market highs, which may not happen in the near future, because right now, while we battle with regulations and the talk about the ETF with the SEC, it's not very likely to expect a quick boom. The fast money era is over, in my opinion, and right now this is where we have to be smarter about our investments and our trades. The next headline for me is a sad one. Mike Novogratz cryptocurrency bank is off to a slippery start, and it drops 20% in one day. So he finally got approval to launch Galaxy Digital LP. I think that was on the 1st of August. Novogratz experienced problems launching the bank since its originally planned debut back in January, and they've just been at a stalemate watching the prices drop. Now, the bank sold shares at the start of the year when the prices were nearing all-time highs, and so it's sad when you think about it. So despite the rocky start and the challenges, Novogratz has remained entirely bullish on Bitcoin and the field in general. So we have tweets here. There's a tweet here from him when he said he doesn't see BTC dominance pulling back at any time soon. He expects that lots of cool institutional projects are coming, and most will start with Bitcoin. So stay long. So he's definitely someone I've been rooting for, and you know, it's kind of sad to see that this is still happening to him. There's going to be a link to this article in the details section of the video. You could always check it out. In the next headline, we see an SEC commissioner says there's no reason not to allow a Bitcoin ETF. So looking right into that, US SEC Commissioner Heston Pierce, she's one of the 4 SEC commissioners currently considering the future of a potential Bitcoin ETF, and she's publicly announced that there's no reason why the regulatory body would not allow the product to be approved. Now, she maintains that the Winklevoss ETF is in accordance with the Securities and Exchange Act, stating that she would have let it go forward. She also said that the primary concerns expressed by the rest of the commission are with the nature of the Bitcoin market itself, which she says is an example of the SEC reaching beyond its role as a regulatory body. So what she means is that they should actually have focused on the markets where the exchange traded product would actually trade, as opposed to focusing on the underlying Bitcoin market. So she highlights that the manner in which the SEC handles gold and oil markets does not scrutinize the underlying assets that drive such markets when assessing financial products. This actually suggests some bias to a degree, because crypto actually does make a lot of people quite emotional. So if it does meet all the requirements, then it should pass, and then the market would actually take care of the market, as it always does. Discussing the upcoming VanEck Bitcoin ETF decision, Pierce emphasized the need for the SEC to increase the number of opportunities available to investors that allow them to participate in markets in a manner that is efficient and effective. Now, she states that she does not hold any cryptocurrency in order to avoid any conflict of interest, but she does see a significant promise in blockchain technology. Good news for those in England, you can now buy cryptocurrencies in Coinbase using British pounds. So Coinbase is making life easier for the Brits to buy and sell cryptocurrencies, and the exchange desk announced that it supports GBP deposits and withdrawals natively on its platform. This is actually going to eliminate frictions associated with converting funds from euro to pounds, and also provides native support for the local currency, allowing much faster deposits and withdrawal times. Now, they've already begun rolling out functionality to UK customers, and it's going to take a couple of days before it goes countrywide, but this is something that's happening, and so this is something that UK residents can look forward to. Now, the new integration is powered by Faster Payments, which is one of the fastest transfer systems available, and has a maximum transaction limit of £250,000 per transaction. The biggest takeaway here is that native support for the pounds means that deposits and withdrawals will no longer be subject to annoying conversion fees and relevant bank exchange rates. Now, as we round up, we'll take a look at a pretty hilarious headline. This company's stock rose over 500% just by adding blockchain to their name. The writer here jokes that if you own a small business and want to spike the price of your stock, all you need to do is put blockchain in the name, because apparently it works. Long Island Tea Core is a company that produces flavored iced tea, and what they did was they simply changed their name to Long Blockchain Core in December 2017. And as a result of this, the price of the company's shares shot up from under $5 million to almost $70 million in just a few days. The question does come up now, did they do this in order to achieve this price shoot, and apparently it turns out that they did. So the SEC naturally has issued an investigation into their affairs, and they've been subpoenaed. Turns out this is not the first time they've gotten into trouble recently. Indeed, NASDAQ previously threatened to delist the company, and it appears its issues with the SEC this time have to do with its recent plans to restructure its business. Over here there is a link to the full article, and this is going to be in the details section of the video so you can check it out. And finally, we're looking at a newsletter from Genesis Mining. They've brought back their Bitcoin contracts. They're actually going to be doing 5-year Bitcoin contracts, and they have a couple of videos over here showing off their new hardware. So more good news for them. Their cease and desist order has actually been withdrawn. This comes after 5 long months of working closely with South Carolina officials to provide a practitioner's perspective on mining. And interestingly enough, it's actually, I think, one of the first times a blockchain company has ever pushed back against a cease and desist order and won, which is very good news if you think about it, because it does show that the legal system is actually getting more insight into the way the blockchain and cryptocurrencies work. So personally, I'm not a huge fan of cloud mining at the moment because it hasn't been as profitable. But I mean, if you're already invested with Genesis and you want to pick up a few more additional terahashes, by all means, feel free to do that, because again, the overall sentiment in the market is that we will be getting a bull run pretty soon if we aren't already in the makings of one. I'm also going to be putting out a promo code so you could actually pick up your hash power 3% cheaper. If you use that, it supports the channel, so it will actually be in the details section of the video. Now, they also added here that they aim to become an EOS block producer and they need your votes. So there's going to be information here. They actually linked it in a blog post. If you're not familiar with the voting process, you can actually check that out and vote for Genesis Mining to become an EOS Gen block producer if that is something you want to do. So that brings us to the end of today's drive-through. I want to thank everybody who took the time to pick up Ledger Nano wallets. Thank you so much. It supports the channel if you use the link in the details section of the video, and I hope you enjoy safe crypto. So if you like this kind of content, do smash the like button, hit the subscribe button so you can catch my videos as they drop. Also, be sure to hit the little bell icon so you actually get the notifications when I release these videos. And I'll be sure to keep the content rolling out as much as possible. My name is Majesty Ibianga, and this has been another episode of the Financial Drive-Thru. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you.